Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. Our guest of today is Adrian, and he's the founder at Fortbridge. And Adrian, why don't you tell a little bit more about yourself and some of the amazing things what your company is doing?
Hi, Joy. Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm Adrian. To be honest, to be 100% accurate, I'm the co-founder of Fortbridge, one of the two co-founders. So I founded Fortbridge together with my brother. It's a family-run business. We founded this company about 5 years ago. During the pandemic. Actually, we are a cybersecurity company focused on penetration testing and red teaming. I guess for your audience, which may not be familiar with pen testing and red teaming, essentially what we're doing is we're emulating hackers. We are ethical hackers. We're trying to test the security of our clients' applications and infrastructures, I guess. So this could be a web application, a mobile application, some IoT device, some cloud-hosted application or whatever. So we're trying to find as many vulnerabilities as possible. Obviously, high-impact vulnerabilities, because this is how we like to add value to our customers. We're trying to find the critical vulnerabilities that may actually impact their business. And then we disclose them. We write a nice report where we explain them, look, this is what we found. This is how you're reproducing the vulnerability in case you want to do that. And this is what we recommend in order to address those vulnerabilities. That's kind of it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I like how you're saying like we are ethical hackers searching for the vulnerabilities, but not just vulnerabilities, like kind of seeing the vulnerabilities which are the biggest kind of risk, so you can add like the most value for your clients, which you are saying.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very important. This is one of the reasons why we started this business, to be honest. Because previously we were sometimes in a situation where we had to hire some pen testers ourselves, and oftentimes we simply were not that happy with the quality of the report, with the findings that we were getting. So we're like, look, there is definitely a gap in the market, and we could add value to that. Right now, for example, I have 2 decades of experience. When I started this company, I had 15 years of experience because it was 5 years ago, like I mentioned. I had the experience in some top tech companies, some big tech companies. I had a lot of experience, and I was feeling quite confident in the fact that we could add value into this market.
Yeah, I love how you're saying like 2 decades. Man, I'm 29 myself. It means like you already started to be into this world when I was like 9 years old, which is interesting because like you said like, hey, we started a company like 5 years ago, but you didn't actually start the company 5 years ago because you started like building this experience years before you were even thinking about starting the company, which makes it a very organic thing. Because like it's one thing to say like, hey, I just want to be an entrepreneur and I just want to be a founder and let's create something. Right? But it's another thing to actually like live your life, live your experience, and from living your experience, like really see where the gaps are. And think if this is your perspective when founding a company, you can add the most value because you're like talking from real world experience.
Absolutely. You pointed it perfectly, I would say, exactly. So we lived it. We had the technical skill set. The one thing that we didn't have at the beginning was obviously the business experience. Like we were not salespeople, we were not marketing people. We were definitely very skilled engineers, all right? But we still had to learn a lot of new things since we started the company. Like what's the whole process? How do you incorporate the company? How to do your taxes? Then we had to learn, okay, we need to learn a bit about marketing. We need to do some research. We need to learn how to publish on a blog. Or to be honest, I remember right now, the first blog or two that we published, they were a bit embarrassing. It was a bit our first time when we published a blog, so we had a lot of things to learn since then. And then we learned again sales and other business related processes, I would say, over the past couple of years. It's a learning experience. You have to have that willingness and that desire to learn and to improve your services, basically.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. Like the first blog kind of sucks, right? I think that's part of being a founder.
I'm being honest.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of founders who are watching this podcast right now, they resonate with that because like as a founder, a lot of things we're doing, we never experienced it before because we are a founder, right? We're kind of stepping into this entrepreneurship. So it's kind of like flying an airplane, but also learning how to fly the airplane while you're flying.
Yeah, absolutely. But at least we were aware of our limitations at the beginning. We knew that we're skilled engineers. We also knew that we never wrote a blog post before. We were expecting that it's going to be a bit more difficult at the beginning and that there are a lot of things that we need to learn. But, I'm glad to report that we've learned a lot of things in the past couple of years.
Very nice. And what are some of the ways how you guys are acquiring new customers at the moment?
The way we're acquiring new customers at the moment, I would say there's like two main ways. Either via LinkedIn, we're reaching out to various people and we're asking them if they're interested to collaborate with our company, or But the other way that worked quite well for us was to go and we spoke at conferences in the past year. We did a lot of networking. We presented our security research there. To give you some examples, I would say we spoke at me and my co-founder probably spoke at about 10, 15 conferences in the past year, at least. I spoke at Blue Hat, which is organized by Microsoft in Israel in April this year. That's just, I'm mentioning the biggest conference, and many others. And then Bogdan, he also spoke at DEF CON in Las Vegas in August. So we spoke at, we had some really nice security research, some impactful vulnerabilities, and we had the opportunity to present it at some top conferences. And other than that, we spoke at many other B-Sides conferences. I spoke at OAS Porto in Portugal, as the Salt in France, etc. It's been a year with a lot of traveling, to be honest. It was fun, rewarding, also a bit exhausting. Just always flying somewhere, really.
Yeah, and I love it because you guys are like what you're saying. You really to put your best to actually create that exposure. People actually know about you guys, which is very important while doing business. And let's say you guys growing the business. I mean, it's like 5 years down the road, which is like around 2000.
Yes, just during the pandemic.
Yeah, right. And let's say if you look back at all the lessons you've learned, what are some of the biggest you've learned along the way while growing this business towards where it is today?
I think I touched briefly on one of these. Probably should have started doing more research earlier before starting the actual company. I could have done that. I didn't do it. That was obviously a mistake. It would have teach me, I guess, a couple of things. One, how to do more research, better research, and do it faster. Also, it would have taught me how to write quality blog posts earlier. And obviously with this, it comes a lot of exposure, because if you write a good quality blog post with solid research, you found like a really nice vulnerability, impactful. Maybe you spent a couple of weeks just creating a proof of concept for an exploit. So if you do some quality work, then there's a good chance that it will go viral. We had quite a few of these, and it brings you a lot of visibility and recognition in the industry. That is definitely one important thing. And again, the other thing would be, I guess, what we learned, just how to do more marketing, more sales for this. In the end, we ended up hiring some marketing and some sales people.
Very nice. So what you're saying, kind of like preparing a little bit more before getting started, right? You guys were just heading head first in and might have been more efficient. And sometimes I was talking with another founder about this, and it's about like failing forward, about taking action. And while you're taking the action, once you actually learn from your actions, there's this learning curve and you're growing. No matter, like, for sure, yesterday it could be better, but the most important thing is like, how are you going to respond today towards all the lessons you are facing?
Yeah, I guess the most important step is you need to actually decide, and you need to start taking that first step. You need to start taking action. And after that, just use your best judgment, be persistent, so you can tackle all the challenges one by one based on their priority. But you have to take that first step.
Very nice. And let's say, like, did you watch Lord of the Rings?
I did not, to be honest, no.
And did you watch like Harry Potter?
No, I did not.
Okay, so let's say you could do magic. This pen I'm having in my hand right now, it's a magic wand. With this magic wand, which I'm this pen right now, you could solve any problem in your business in just a couple of seconds. What kind of problem would you choose if you could hold this magic wand for just like 1 second?
I guess what we would like from our point of view, one of the challenges that we would like, we see more transparency in the industry. That's one thing. We would also like to help people make better decisions when choosing a vendor, not necessarily a pen testing vendor, like when choosing a security vendor. We would like to maybe educate them, or for them to be in a position to make more educated choices. For example, a couple of years ago, before doing this business, I was working in a contract, and one of the things that I noticed, the company at the time, big insurance company, they didn't have any inside security expertise in their team. Massive company. Or not really, they realized we need some security tools, but they didn't know how to choose. I was just being transparent to them. I told them, look, I suggest we reach out to a couple of vendors. We request for a trial version of each of their products, and then simply benchmark them. That's it. Let's run some benchmarks. We took 5 products from 5 vendors. I benchmarked them. I showed them the results, and look, these are the results. That came first, second, you're free to choose. But this is the approach that I like. I like transparency, and I like to make decisions based on data, basically. That's what I like.
It's like very objective. It's just, this is the way it is, and it doesn't make any sense. If this is number one, it doesn't make any sense to go for number three, because the numbers are just way better with number one.
Yeah, exactly. Like our decisions are based on data. That's what we like. And these are the people and the businesses that we like to work with, basically.
Very nice. And for the people who are watching the podcast right now, they're like, hey, I love what you're saying. I love the value you're sharing. We want to know more. What are some of the ways they can connect either with you or the company?
They can find me either on LinkedIn. They can find the company on LinkedIn as well. We have a company page that is quite popular, I would say. We got like 3,000 followers now, and it's still growing. They can find the company on LinkedIn. They can also find me on X or Twitter, as it was called. And they can also find me via email, of course, at adrian@fortbridge.co.uk. I'm easy to find.
Adrian, thanks so much for being on the podcast, for sharing all your value, sharing your openness, talking about your background. For the people who are watching the podcast, I'm going to make sure to put the description of Adrian and the company down below so you can easily find it. And everyone, thanks for tuning in, and see you in the next episode.